Hello and welcome to season 3 of Startup Hustle Middle East. Very excited to be back. I know it's been a while since we posted, but basically I've been really busy working on actual stuff in the real world, and we didn't really get time to do the podcast, but I really decided that this season's going to be all about AI. So today, this week, we have the founders of Unlimits, which is a new app. I'm going to let the founders explain what it does. So we've got Sajid Ansar and Siddharth Anantaram. I hope I got that right. Here, they're the founders of Unlimits. And I've also been working with them and the team in a co-founder capacity, so full disclosure over there. So I thought we'd start off this first episode with what we have been working on. And I'll let Sajid and Sid introduce themselves. You guys probably already know me, but Sajid, if you can go first and give us a little bit of background about who you are, what you've done, and then Sid, please go ahead, Sajid.
Sure. Thank you for having us, Sid, and nice to start your next innings of Startup Hustle with us. My name is Sajid Ansar. I used to run a branding and marketing firm called Idea Spice, which has been around for 24 years. And currently I'm on this journey to take Unlimits and take it across the world, and excited to be with both you gentlemen.
Thank you for having us, Sid. From one Sid to another, I think it's always nice to know more Sids in the world who are doing epic things. And we've been on this journey of building Unlimits, but a little backstory about me. My world has been obsessed. I've been obsessed about just transformation, what gets people to transform, what get businesses to transform. And I do this in multiple capacities as a coach, as a consultant. And in this case on Unlimits, we're trying to find a way to help people overcome the whole aspect of being stagnant in their growth journeys and their change journeys, and see how we can help them transform at a faster level, simpler level. And that's been the journey.
All right, guys, audience still doesn't know what Unlimited does, so if you could give us the elevator pitch.
Got it.
I can start. The self-help industry is probably one of the largest growing industries in the world. And within self-help, what we realized with both our experiences together is that people get inspired. You go for coaching talk shows, you go for workshops, you read a book. Many of us see something inspiring on Instagram. You see a YouTube video and you feel super inspired. And the world statistic is that inspiration dies after 72 hours. And over conversation, we've seen a lot of people who want to do things, who have dreams. I want to lose weight, I want to quit my job, I want to start a business. And we've seen that most people don't move on that journey. So what Unlimits does is it simplifies that, allows you to design your own life, and it helps you to take action on these dreams.
Very, very cool. I'm obviously very close to the product, so I know what it does. But for our audience, can you explain a little bit about? I understand the motivation. How does it do that, and how does the app work? What is the system? What is the payment process? If you guys could explain a little bit in more detail about what exactly the app does.
Sure. I think the biggest enemy that we are trying to combat through Unlimits is the resistance to change. It's people procrastinating on things that they really want to do, people regretting the things that they should have done looking back, and people just in short that starting every single day thinking, I wish I'd done this, and postponing that thing to a someday. I think what Unlimits does is it helps you, really gives you three things. The first is it gives you clarity. Most people, before they want to act on anything, they need the clarity of what they really want, clearly defined, well enough. That's what Unlimits helps you do very, very quickly in a conversational way. The second thing it gives you is it helps you manifest that thing that you want even more vividly. Science has shown that people who manifest what they really want are 4x more likely to go ahead and actually get it. Unlimits helps you do that in a way where you do that through meditation, through audio, as well as through a written exercise that helps you stay very, very close to your dream. So clarity, vividly manifesting what you want, and then thirdly, breaking that big or small dream that you have into a small step that you can do today. These are the three fundamental steps of Unlimits. Can I know what I want? Can I manifest it clearly? And can I break it down into one small step I can take action on today? That's what the app is designed to do.
Okay, great. So one question, I know the answer to this, but for our audience, how is AI helping this app, and how does AI differentiate from traditional products, and where would you say your competitors are compared to you, and how is AI transforming this particular journey?
So I'll start this thing in two parts, little bit of a backstory. So I personally started this whole dream 7 years back, and at that time it was a personal quest, because I was struggling with weight loss, my financial mindset. I had a bunch of things I wasn't taking action on, and I was what I would call a self-help junkie. Would go for every workshop, do stuff. I knew what to do, but I wasn't taking action. And I started exploring a lot, and over time, I came across this concept called optimal discomfort, where you don't do too much. You break it down into a tiny little step. And I started applying this from not running to 3 months doing a half marathon, losing 30 kilos, growing my business around the world. I started seeing it in different aspects, from my time, my balance of life. And I found that I wanted to now start teaching it. So it started as a personal quest, started teaching it. And then the thought was, how do I create a solution which simplifies the whole process, where everybody wants to do stuff? And then me and Sid started, bumped into Sid. That's another story which we will share along the way. But to answer this, the dream was simplification. It was to use tech to take it to the world. And I guess it was luck, or in manifestation, it's a universe working for you. AI came along, which allowed us to take multiple research, multiple walks of life. If somebody could take any single dream they wanted, and we could use AI to understand their age, where they're at, how long do they want it in, and break it down into little steps so that works for each individual and not a generic solution. And we've seen that why people drop off is, if you give me a generic solution, it's not prescriptive. And so that was the first thing. When AI came out, it was fantastic. I could write something, it breaks it down, it does it. And then we started playing a lot more in how do you build in empathy, how do you put in coaching models. We did a lot of research where we realized people don't like to be told what to do, where they want to discover it themselves. And then we were finding an interesting concept called the future self. And the future self is a version of you which has no regrets. And we couldn't have built that conversation without AI. We couldn't have built in empathy models without AI. And I think when we started working with you, it was, how do we push the boundaries of AI? Of course, there are a lot of solutions, but how do you create an agentic model which is so unique from what people are used to, where you ask for something, AI tells you, wow, you're amazing, and tells you what to do. We wanted somebody who holds you accountable, who's blunt with you, who talks to you like a friend, who's wise. And I don't think what we would have set out to do would have been possible to this extent. I'm so glad that AI came along the way.
Just want to add to what Sajid said. I think the two things that AI has done for us very, very, in very, very simple terms is, number one, it helps us with rapid personalization. I think in the world that we're living in today, books, resources, workshops, like Sajid was mentioning, they give you tools and resources to go over things and become better. But the challenge there is that it's not personalized to exactly your circumstances, your unique context. Right. One thing the world of coaching has taught me is that how do you convert change to transformation is how you ensure that it is any particular information that you have available is rapidly personalized to the particular individual, their unique journeys, their unique roadblocks, the things that they're going through. Now, what happens with AI is that we're able to do that at scale. So personalization is one of those elements. And the second most important element that it's helped us do is it's helped us actually make sense of millions of information of data and then make it easily available to people at a fraction of the cost and time.
Right. Yeah, so I'll just add a little bit more since we worked on the AI systems together. So audience, if you don't know, it's been a while, but I've started a new company which advises other organizations how to deploy AI. And one thing we did was, first of all, we built a multi-agent architecture behind Unlimits. It's got a lot of deep information that these guys had already worked on and collected over time. So that grounds the AI itself to be more, understand the core requirement better to help the user along the way. But as he said, the personalization aspect really comes in, where every user can have a unique experience on Unlimits, which is required for the end goal of helping them achieve something, right? Okay, cool. I think first startup for both of you guys, like tech startup.
First tech startup for me for sure.
Yeah, tech startup, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming to the world of tech startups, it's quite different from traditional business models. You know, you need funding, you need a lot of initial time for development and prototyping and product. How has that journey been for you guys? If you can individually tell me the pros and cons, let's say.
I can go first. So I guess I had a different reading of what I thought the journey would be. So I had done entrepreneurship, built a successful company which is running without me for 24 years, well known. We've grown it all over. And I thought I am the guy who knows it all. It's going to be a cakewalk. And I'm also used to being a sole entrepreneur, taking decisions on my own, following my gut feel, instincts, and more often than not, it's worked in my favor. So first, I was planning to do this whole thing on my own. And one of the things I learned very quickly, and thing is, it's a completely different ball game. And what got you here will not get you to the next point. And I guess it's a lot of unlearning which I had to do. One, realizing that it's a long journey. It is a lonely journey. It's a journey where you can't have assumptions because you cannot understand the user until you speak to them. Right. I also came in with the confidence that I'm a marketing guy. I know users, and that's what I do for a living because I run a marketing firm. So that also was, I would say, a shock in itself because the whole tech world, user behavior, understanding the funnel, understanding what people are looking for, how do you get them to try the app, how do you get them to pay for the app, the tech aspect, the fact that AI is moving so fast, the dynamics of people, the burn rates, learning to work with other people's money. So I guess it's a lot of it was unlearning. And I think for me, Unlimits is about shifting people's comfort zone. Right. I think I've shaken my comfort zone to the core. So yes, it's a completely different journey. And I'm now in retrospect, I'm glad I didn't do it alone. And I'm glad we also, if I talk about both you guys, and if I talk to other startups, it's important to know what you're not good at and seek that out in other co-founders. And second is to find co-founders whose values align, but their strengths are different. And I guess that's also an important one where we took it step by step. I think Sid was coaching me. Interestingly, he was coaching me to make sure I start Unlimits because I was sitting on the fence and not doing it. That's how I met Sid. And then I coached Sid to say that, maybe you're playing too small. Because over the journey, I felt that there's a lot of similarities, but there were stark contrasts in the skill sets. Right. And it's a transformation app. So you need somebody who's only thinking user and transformation. And then we worked with you as a consultant first. In fact, after our first meeting, both of us felt we're going to work with you. But we decided that let's work with you as a consultant, align the value set because your skill sets were never in question. Right. And you were bringing, it is a AI app. It's a transformation app. If I don't have a transformation person or an AI person, we don't really have the core pillars. Right. And as soon as we felt that we're thinking the same thing, I think what also tied us together is, one, we are beyond ourselves, we're thinking of the user. I mean, all our discussions, our arguments are about the user. Right. It's set in the objective. We are passion-led. And I think we also like to iterate ourselves and grow. I think that's sort of connected for us. But in a long way to answer, it is a completely different journey. And every day I have
you're going to use curse words.
I'm controlling the curse words. But yeah, I mean, the name of your show is correct. It's a hustle. I've not hustled. I guess touchwood, things have been a lot easier for me on my earlier journey. But I guess I'm growing up really fast now, even at this stage.
Yeah. Tech startups can be more challenging than people think because there's so many aspects to it. You have to do marketing, tech, internal strategy, build a moat, fight existing competitors.
Legal, back-end, security, and also thinking. And I guess the end of it, the other thing I would say for startup is I always tell myself, or we also speak to each other, that the potential of the hard work is the scale at which you can operate, which you can't do in any other business at the end of it. So that's the other aspect which keeps us going. that we can impact at scale.
Yeah. What about you, Sid? What do you think?
No,
of
I guess
the-
I think a year into starting working on Unlimits and working on the whole journey, I keep when friends ask me how's it going, and one of the things that I always tell them is, listen, there have been some beautiful pros and cons. I've come from the world where I've operated primarily in person, through in-person experiences, in-person coaching, etc. The beauty of the tech world is that you can rapidly prototype and build something and get feedback. I think that's one of the things that is the biggest pro of working in the tech world, because you can actually build something, rapidly get it out with the world of AI now, and then get that feedback so quickly that earlier it would have taken you a far longer time to do. So I think of that as a big pro, and people are able to use this whole mechanism to be able to are going to build some incredible things in the next decade. That I'm sure of. I think one of the biggest cons of the tech world is that, as Sajid alluded to this, it humbles you. It humbles you, and how? Because that same feedback can be shown straight at your face to tell you what you were thinking was a complete assumption with a big ass in the front of the assumption. And I think there have been multiple times on our journey of building Unlimits in the last year or so where some of these assumptions have tested us to the limit, where we were a day before launching one of the versions where we said we had to go to the drawing board and we did a workshop before that, and we said, wow, the assumption that we built the product with versus what we got feedback at the workshop was completely opposite. So we had to stop just a day before launching it. We had to say, probably this is not the right one, and then go out and launch a next version, and then get feedback, update it again. So I think the journey of building a tech product is about two things from what I've learned so far. One is patience, and then resilience. Can you be shown feedback that doesn't work in your favor, and can you pick your ass back up again and get back to building? Those are the two things that come up for me to summarize the journey.
So before you go, I just want to add to one more thing. Since you're also, the audience is other startups and possibly VCs, etc. I think the resilience aspect, the big shift also in the startup journey, which we've learned, is your self-image of yourself has to beat the self-respect. Because it's something I learned earlier. I was caught up with my own self-respect, because when you're doing something in my earlier field, I've been doing it all my life, and once you get to a certain thing, there's so much of self-respect. And here, when you're going in, the people you go and present for funding, you go for partnerships or affiliations, or your users, everybody's humbling you, saying, and we've had also people who worked for us who've also told us on our face, I don't think it's going to work.
Right.
But one is, it's very easy to hear that noise and say, it's not going to work. Or what can I change to make sure it works has always been what we've left with. Good feedback.
Right.
But we're going to iterate quickly, both as people. So that resilience aspect, I think, is one of the biggest things you got to carry on as a startup along the hustle, which is there. And you got to replace your self-respect with a self-belief.
Yeah. And I just wanted to add from a AI perspective, like what used to take a team, like I've been a CTO at different startups, we built lots of things in my life. What used to take, like, let's say 6 months to build a prototype, and maybe 4 or 5 developers who are skilled developers, now can be done in like a month with maybe 2 or maybe just 1 person, right? You can build a very polished prototype. So that forces speed of iteration almost automatically. Like, if you can build that fast, then you can iterate even faster, right? So I think that's a lot of startups today who are starting now are going to feel that iteration process be even faster. Yeah. So okay, let's talk a little bit about fundraising, and how did that go around, and what is the experience with that? I'm sure you have, I don't think you guys fundraised before. How has that experience been? I've done it before, so I know how hard it can be, but how is it for Unlimits?
So I think we spoke to a lot of people, and I myself must have done a lot of courses on the whole pros and cons of fundraising. And one of the early learnings was to try and bootstrap as much as possible, for as long as you can, when you can prove the product. So the initial part, most of the research, the build, the first few MVPs were all bootstrapped, because we wanted to. It is a big problem we're trying to solve, right? It is also a very broad spectrum, so for people to get it. So the idea was also to midwife the concept out. So initially we bootstrapped, and once we saw something where we saw light at the end of the tunnel, it's also a big responsibility, I guess, when you're taking other people's money. Maybe it could be the old school side of doing business. I personally had a little bit of challenge in the beginning to ask for money. I think it's again that same self-respect. I've grown businesses successfully without bank or finance or funding, but that's service industry. So there was some rewiring, which I had a much younger mastermind which I worked with, and they're all techies, and I needed to change my friend circle. I realized I've also got to get out of my comfort zone. So when I was working with them, I think they were speaking about this angel, that angel, and I seemed to know most of the people. And then they asked me, how come you're not being able to raise? And I said, because I don't know how to ask. And I'm also feeling responsible that if I take somebody else's money. So these youngsters had rewired my mind, saying that you're giving them an opportunity and they're putting in money with the chance of failure. And they're betting on it. It's not your responsibility. You are going to continue to be a founder. So as soon as that rewired, my first few angels happened in a few weeks. For me, it was more of a mindset thing. And I have seen in this region also, some of the learnings. A lot of the angels were asking questions like a VC you hear about in the US. Angels here, instead of betting on the idea, were asking about traction. So I know a lot of startups. I've been speaking to people, they don't get it. That if you have traction, why would you need an angel? So there's a whole bunch of these questions, but we were lucky. But again, when we started, me and Sid, and I think later on with you also, we had a few criteria, because again, maybe unfair advantages because there was a network. But it was important that we wanted people who have invested in tech before, who we also had friends and business people. We didn't want to take money saying you're doing it, so I'll put in the money, because the chance of failure is high. To educate them, saying if you've not invested in tech, don't put in the money, was one. Second, we wanted value aligned. We wanted people who believed in what we're doing. They were not just business transaction. It could be a bunch of criteria we put in, but it's been working well. And third, we wanted strategic advantage. We also told our angels that you're going to be involved closely. We want to meet you often. We want to update you. We want to ask you to open doors, either through future investors or tie-ups or media coverage. Yes, touch wood, the people we have got on board have all been fantastic, has got us so far. And we're also continuing with angels till we hit our PMF. That's the other thing which we're looking at. And we've defined PMF as a small pool of people who say, wow, I can't do without the product and I'll pay for it. So as soon as we see that milestone is when we're going to look for larger funding. Till then, our decision is to go with the angel route.
And in terms of fundraising for the next round or a seed or a Series A, how are you planning to go about that?
So because I'm handling the funding part of it. So currently, we are continuing to talk and get the word out in as many places. So we are noticed. And we're starting our network. So like this show is also hopefully some VC is going to see it and realize we don't want the money now, but we're going to come to you when the traction is big, and this is a product which will take over the world. And you've got the best combination of founders there can be in this region. So with that confidence and without sounding cocky, I would say it with all heart that this is a strong product. It impacts a massive market. No one's done it before. And there's a lot of complex learning to make this simple, which we have put in. It is a moat we have built in. So you have a coach, you have someone who's done business, understands marketing and branding, and it's a passion purpose, and you got someone who's an expert in AI coming together. So VCs, we're putting the word out, and the idea is to continue our journey and get enough of traction when we start speaking to the pre-seed and the Series A. We also want to be selective on the right people. Again, value aligned even with the Series A.
Right.
And that's something which we've spoken about.
Okay.
So it's about speaking, getting the word out, and also starting to network in the right places, which is also not our current network. So we're reaching out and we're making new friends.
Cool.
Just want to add a fun little conversation that I think three of us have had, and one of the conversations I remember having with Siddharth. We had a simple question that we asked ourselves when we wanted to bring on anyone as an investor, potential investor, or even a team member, or even as a co-founder, right? And the question was simple: would we love hanging out with this person outside of work? Right? And if the answer was yes, we knew that was a great filter. Because one of the things that, like we were discussing earlier, the startup journey has taught us is that it's all about resilience, and which means that you want to be surrounded by people, whether as an investor or a co-founder, who you love spending time with. They're not someone who you just talk about work all the time with. They're someone you want to potentially paddle with. They are someone you want to introduce your families to. You want your families to get to know each other, because you're going to be spending so much time with this person. And that was the same filter that we also applied to any potential investor that we brought on. And touch wood, I think that filter has served us really well, because every investor that we've brought on so far is someone we would love to hang out with. And in fact, we do. Right? And I think that's an additional thing that has really helped us get feedback in so many different ways apart from just formal investor meetings. Because sometimes when you're sitting with an investor outside of work and you're having an informal conversation, there are so many ideas that click that sometimes a formal investor conversation will not unlock for you. So this is something that has been fantastic for us that I wanted to share.
So have you finished your angel round, or are you guys still looking, and seeds on the cards?
So I think for us, the way we have calculated till we hit our PMF, the way we've benchmarked it, we currently have space for 3 more angel investors. We are in conversations, and we are looking at closing this in the next, I would say, the next 45 days. So we're looking at angel investors who one are looking for a product in AI which can impact the world. This is a consumer-led product, so it is B2C initially, though the spin-off is later going to go into offices and universities, but we're starting off as a B2C product. So people who are looking at B2C impact, who are looking at brave products and willing to take a bet on something very big. And that's the space we're looking at. We're also looking currently in this region. And later, when we get to our pre-seed and we see we are looking at other markets, we're even looking at the US or Europe, where self-help is a big part of the investment portfolio of companies. So currently, 3 angels is what we're looking at.
Okay, great. Speaking of the US, and we're in the self-help space, there's a lot of big players already in the market. Do you compare yourself to like a Headspace or a Calm, or where do you position yourself in the market, and how you plan to go to market, and what differentiates Unlimits?
That's a very good question. Like we said in the beginning, it's interestingly, the self-help market is huge. The statistic is that in the US alone, almost 11% of all users have a self-help app on their mobile phone.
11%?
11%.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
And
I didn't know that.
We are focused on the self-help market. And in the self-help market, you've got the Calm, you've got the Headspaces, which are very, very specialized for meditation. You've got Fabulous, you've got Habitica, you've got something like a Whoop, which is for your health. All these are for getting you going. And there's a whole bunch which is for inspiration. So we sit after that, where you learn something from a Mind Valley, we work in correlation with them. You get inspiration from the content there, I want to take action. If it's a coaching app, in all these apps like Fabulous, Atom, Habitica, we are the app which happens after inspiration. In the future, we'll probably work in connection, in partnership with a lot of these apps. So we're not technically competition, but we are in that space. And there is a lot of spin-offs, because a lot of these things, like a lot of people have told us feedback that I have ADHD, but it helps me to get clarity because I'm thinking of hundreds of things. So we don't say we're a mental wellness app, but it helps. It helps you to get clarity, break it down, remove the clutter. When we have had a lot of clients or users tell us that I was low, I was depressed, but this gave me hope. it moved me from a stagnation to this. So that's the offshoots.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we claim we are personal transformation, but all these industries we work with, the whole coaching fraternity, which Sid is part of, coaches want to be accountable. They want to, when they tell their client, they want to check in on what they're doing.
Right.
That's the other offshoot. So we sit along with a lot of these apps.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of marketing, the main thing is to get the word out.
Mm-hmm.
So ours is going to be a hybrid version.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing much smaller tests till we hit PMF.
Mm-hmm.
After our product market fit, we want a lot of user generated content
Mm-hmm.
where it's a real app, it's with soul. So we want it to be led by real stories, testimonials, people things. So we're looking at UGC from different parts of the world.
Okay.
We will have nano influencers who are spokespeople in mental wellness, health, gym, education, manifestation, because and these are big buzzwords. Manifestation has gone into the dictionary now. It was a word of the year
Right.
2 years back.
Oh, really?
So those are the spaces we're looking at. And then, of course, like everybody else, we will do a bunch of performance marketing,
Right.
specifically targeted to people who pay for self-help.
Okay.
That's a cohort we are looking for initially.
Okay.
But heart of hearts, we are seeing in our mind or our manifestation
Mm-hmm.
is this crazy virality of people saying, my God, this changed my life. You've got to check it out.
Okay.
And that's the time when that suddenly a tipping point comes where you don't need marketing. So the idea is to get to that point.
Right.
So till that dream comes alive, we're going to push from every single front. SEO, we are doing workshops around the world. We are going to universities. We are working with CEOs.
Right.
So we've been on the road, getting awareness and knocking on doors. But we're also doing that with actually giving impact. It's not so much marketing.
Right.
Even all our workshops are to make sure that whoever comes to the workshop,
Mm-hmm.
we transform their thinking, get them into action. So that's been the first agenda. And then, by the way, there's Unlimits if you want to continue. That's how we've been doing it.
Right. How do you think Unlimits is different from a? I mean, I know the answer, but how do you think Unlimits is different from a ChatGPT wrapper or a AI wrapper?
Yeah, look, so I think the biggest thing about the world of AI is that the level of input that you add into a ChatGPT or a Claude defines the level of output. What we know to be true is that 95% of the world right now chats with it with the input of which is not clear, which means what they're getting out of the as an output from it is not clear enough to be able to help them or serve them as well as it could potentially be. The difference here is that if with Unlimits, what we've done is we've made it super simple for you to get the maximum from a system where the input is already defined for you, right? Where it's a conversation that you're having with almost like you're speaking to your best friend, right? And just like you would converse with a best friend, you're having a conversation here with your future self on Unlimits. And through the conversation, you don't realize that the input, the way it's asking you or drawing questions or thoughts from you, is actually serving as intelligent inputs that actually gives you the best output in the form of manifestations, in the form of roadmaps, in the form of steps that you can actually take action on. The biggest thing about the world of personal growth, which is where ChatGPT and Claude also fail, is that you can have the best plan. Claude gives you great plans. You can have fantastic 5-step, 10-step systems. But the thing that stops someone from doing it, even though the plan is there right in front of them, is that they have to work on deeper aspects of their own beliefs, their own mindset. They have to reframe things that are actually getting them, even though they can see the plan straight in front of them on their phone or in the laptop, they still don't get down to doing it. Why? It's not because of the quality of the plan. It's because there's a deeper belief that's getting in their way from actually moving the needle on it. That's the part where Unlimits comes in, because it not only gives you that plan in a way that you can understand, but it also helps you reshape those beliefs that you have that are stopping you from actually making that plan possible. And like you shared earlier, the more you chat with it, the more it understands which beliefs are really is helping you towards that dream that you want to make happen, and which beliefs are actually getting in your way, and unblocking those for you so you can actually make positive momentum and progress towards your dream. So the two things I would say that separated from ChatGPT and Claude is, one, the input mechanism is made super simple for you in a conversational form. Second, it works not just on plans, it works on your deeper system, which is your beliefs, which is the actual thing that stops you from doing something.
Can I also add something besides what Sid said, in the fact that it's a super specialized app to make sure you succeed in your dreams? One of the key advantages of having a coach, a strategist, and AI person come together to solve a problem is, I don't think we started, and I think it's a very unique distinction, is we didn't start AI first. We thought of a user and said, how do you get this person to transform and take action? And we, three of us, actually made a full user journey, and then we mapped AI onto it. So we had said that they had to be held accountable, break it down. If I want to take action, I want a curated article on it. If it's my past mindset, which is stopping my subconscious, what solution do I need? I may be wanting to use WhatsApp, so it's different. Maybe I want to get my friends along with it. So we mapped out what are these elements which make a person actually change, and then we mapped Unlimits onto that problem and the solution.
Right.
And the other thing I think we went back to is we started with all these features, and then we started value engineering based on feedback. And one of the key things the AI did was, how do you take these solutions and give it when the user needs it and unclutter? I think that's the way we've looked at AI besides. And then, of course, I think both of you have been doing some brilliant work, and it's hot off the shelf, where we're looking at how do we get this voice to be a friend, who's somebody who's talking to you, because that's where trust happens, right? Simple thing is, if I even observe Sid as a coach, if he's got a mechanical voice, the person who's speaking to him will not open up.
Right.
When you're feeling heard and the person knows there's no judgment. So I think a lot of our journey in the last few months, I would say, the other part was easy. We've been pushing the boundaries on what is a tonality which makes somebody completely open up, trust, and hear back what you want to hear. And I think that's what the AI has done, and which I don't think any other AI system can happen.
And challenge you. Because I think a lot of the AIs today are just, you say something and it agrees with you. Right. But oftentimes, and again, principle of coaching, you want to be challenged. And when something that you're saying is where you're sort of disappointing yourself, or whether you're not challenging yourself enough, you want to hear it. That's where growth happens. And I think the tone of voice that we've been able to crack so far with Unlimits is that of a wise friend. That friend who gets you.
Wise friend or wife's friend?
No, not wise friend.
Definitely
is that of a really wise friend who gets you, who pushes you, who holds you accountable, but who also calls out your shit, when you most need it, and does it in a way that is loving, caring, and warm and friendly.
Very cool. So I think we're going to end on that note. Any advice for startup founders who are just beginning the journey, or entrepreneurs who are looking to make that jump?
I would start, and then you guys can add on. The first thing I would say, like we were sharing, is strap on for the long ride. People who start thinking of exits and feeling that it's a quick one, or you're doing it just because it's cool to be a startup, it's not. And you've got to be purpose driven, otherwise you lose steam. Resilience is linked to purpose, and you've got to have a clear idea of where you're going, and that helps with manifestation. And as a founder, if you're finding it difficult, use Unlimits. You'll get a lot of clarity, including steps.
I think the one thing I would say, the most important thing, you can have the greatest purpose, and you can have the greatest product, but if you don't have a great group of people you're building this with, the journey can get incredibly lonely, and you will end up compromising other aspects of your own life, your health, your relationships. So find a great group of people you want to build this with, people you want to go out with, whether that's your team or your co-founders. They are the ones who are literally your energy system that helps you stay on track, call out your shit, but at the end of it, help you have phenomenal journey of fun. Because ultimately, I personally believe that you build anything because at the end of the day, you want to look back and you want to feel like you had fun, and you build something worth building. So find the right people. One
area which I totally forgot, and we were lucky, we of course spoke about the founders. I think the caliber of the team which we put together. And we've got a core tech team back in Delhi who reports to you, who now we call AI Sid and from Code Sid. And like you mentioned, even without AI, we've got a lean team which can do crazy stuff. They're purpose driven, they're passionate. Like you said, when we go out, we like hanging out with them. So I think we're also lucky to get the right team. And even in Dubai now, we've got a content person who's come on board. So we've got a great team which is there besides all of us.
Who's sitting right here.
Who's sitting right there and making content.
That's going to be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Links to Unlimits and the founders' profiles on LinkedIn in the description. Please make sure you share this episode with friends or anybody who's looking to start a new business, especially here in the Middle East. It's much appreciated. Please leave us a 5-star rating on the podcast platform of your choice. It really helps get the word out. That's going to be it for this episode, guys. Keep on hustling. Bye.